In this video, I will show you how to do an egg osmosis experiment using over-the-counter items that you may have in your house or that you can buy at the grocery store. You will need a whole egg in the shell. You need some kind of vinegar. I'm using distilled white vinegar that's 5% acid. And you'll need sugar or salt to make a sugar or salt solution. I actually have a 60% sucrose solution that is very similar to the osmosis activity in the lab manual. So the first step is to remove the shell from your egg. And you do that by soaking it in vinegar. So this egg has been soaked in vinegar for about 3 days. And the shell is completely removed, leaving the membrane. And I actually did 2 of them so we have a little bit of a control. And then we have some rollers and a wood block to help us with our size comparison. This is actually an extra large egg. These 2 started as large eggs. You know, I can only buy what the grocery store had. And look how much larger they have become than the egg with the shell. Why did that happen? Well, what did I say they were in? I soaked them in 5% acidity vinegar to remove the shell. You have to change the vinegar every day or 2 and it'll happen pretty quickly. If it's 5% acid, that means it's 95% water. So as the shell was being removed, the cell membrane, which on the inside of the cell were probably 70% water, whereas the vinegar was 95% water. So the water would move from high concentration to low concentration, and that is why these 2 expanded. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to very gently put one of my eggs in a beaker and use my 60% sucrose to kind of just cover it up. And it does float a little bit. I'll give it a little push and maybe try to find something to weigh it down a little bit, or put a little cap from a lid in there to hold it under. But let's think about what is going to happen. If inside the egg is 70% water, and now outside the egg is 40% water, the water is going to move across the membrane and exit the egg due to osmotic pressure. So I'm going to leave this in here for a couple hours, and let's come back to it and see how it changes.
3 hours later.
So it's been just over 3 hours. Let's have our original egg for comparison and the original vinegar egg. So you can obviously see that was the bigger one from our first example. And here is the egg that I placed in 60% sucrose. So it has definitely lost mass. I'm able to see through it a little bit easier to see the yolk because there's less water. But you can actually see it's almost back to the size of a extra large egg, whereas this one is still quite larger. So just within 3 hours, we've seen that much of a change. And the longer you go, the more that egg will shrink because it's trying to balance out the osmotic gradient.